Hello and welcome back. Today I have a new tutorial where I am going to show you how to create an Android app without coding, of course. And in this Android app, we'll look at creating a currency converter using a simple public API. So let's quickly get the demo going to understand what the app will be and how it will work. And then we'll get to the blocks part of it where we will build the app without coding. So in the demo, I am using my phone here. So we have a couple of fields. On the left, we have the field where we select the from currency. Let's say I do from USD, I want to check INR. So let me select USD on the left, and on the right, I will select INR. So once I finish selecting, it says you send 1 USD, recipient gets 74.95 INR. And that's a simple app. So we are just converting one currency to the other. So now let's get going into the demo. First step is to go to creator.kodular.io. If you don't have an account, just get an account on kodular.io. And let's do create project. And I will name this currency converter. And then click on next. Let's do a dark theme, and minimum version I prefer keeping it to 23 API. And then you have to give a package name. Package name is a unique name for your app, so I'll do currency converter. And then you have a choice to decide which color scheme you want to use. I'll just quickly select a color. Let's do a bright color. I'll do set, and once you click finish, it will create a project for you. And once the project is ready, our first step is to create the UI. Cool. Now that we have the screen, now we have to create the UI. We'll have two drop downs which show the short form of currencies, and then we'll have four labels, out of which two are you send and recipient gets, and two are the results that we have. And then we will obviously use JSON utils extension. Link for the JSON utils extension will be in the description below. First up, let us quickly import the extension. I'll do import extension and then select the extension that we have downloaded. We have URL. So what this extension does is helps you parse the JSON response from an API. So what is the API that we are going to use? Great question. So the API that we are going to use is ratesapi.io. It's a public API. In this API, there is a way to get the symbols in the base. Symbols is which currency you want to convert to, and what is the base currency that you are using. So let's copy the URL and see the response first. So in this, the base currency is USD and the symbols is INR. Let us change it to, sorry, it was GBP. We'll change it to INR. So you can see the rate is 74.95, and the date of the currency conversion value is today, right? So we'll use this URL. So for that, let me just copy this URL, go to this and go to blocks and create a global variable first. So let us name this variable as API URL, and then we'll create a text and just put the URL there for now. We will just use until base and append the rest of it as we walk through the app. So I go back to designer and we've imported the extension from here. So I'll just drag and drop the extension. And then now the next step is to create the drop down. So for drop downs, you just have to select the user interface on the left, and then drop down is the spinner. So we will do two spinners. So I'm just doing one and then two. And for both of these, I'm going to do with this fill parent. And then inside these are the items. I've already made the items as a CSV. So I just have to paste the items in the elements string here, and then here also the same, right? So now we have the drop downs ready. So the other part is the four labels that we talked about. So I am just dragging and dropping four labels to begin with, and then I will start renaming these to easily add values to these. So the first label is going to be you send. So I'm going to change the text here to you send and make it 22 maybe, and also make it bold. The same applies to the third label here. So we'll do 22 bold and then recipient. Yes. So once we do this, let us quickly also add a little space between the labels. So here I can quickly search for space and then drag and drop the space in between these. So I'll do width as this and also add the space to about 50 pixels, and now we have enough space. We'll also do the same space after the drop downs. You can arrange the drop downs in different ways. For the demo and this video, I'm just keeping it simple. You can arrange these similar to the demo that I showed earlier in the video. So here also we'll do 50 pixels and add a little space between the form and the results, and we'll also add a little space above the form just to make sure it is looking good for the user, right? So I'll do 30 pixels here. So now we have all of these. Text for label 2, we can change it from hidden, as in change the visible to unchecked. Here also unchecked. I'm just removing the text for now. So we have usend, there is an invisible text field here, then there is a recipient, and then there is an invisible field. Now to call an API, we need the web component. So I'll just quickly search for web and then drag and drop the web component. This is a hidden component, which means you can use it in the blocks to call an API and play around with the data. So we have JSON utils, and what else do we need? We have almost everything, right? So for the sake of understanding the components better, I'm just renaming this to API component so that you know what component we are using. And then for JSON utils, I'll change it to JSON parser, right? So we have JSON parser, this ready. Label 4 is the result label, right? So we'll make it receiver value, and then label 2 is the sender value, so this will become sender value. Sender value is 1 by default, so we'll just make it 1 here. We'll not show it yet. So we have the forms ready. The logic for this is when the second spinner changes its value, then we will run the API, right? So let's get into building the blocks. For that, you have to first go to the blocks tab, right? So I've already initiated the API URL, and what I will also do is I will initiate an empty dictionary. Dictionary is a key value storage. So click on variables, initialize a global name, and this one will be API response. So we will store the response. If you look at the response, we'll store this part inside the rates in the API response variable, right? So now the first step is when the second drop down changes. So let us rename the second. So the second spinner and first spinner, you can change it to to currency, and then we can also change the first one to from currency, right? So just for us to be able to easily understand what we are using and why we are using it. So what we will do is just click on to currency, and when the to currency changes, we need to call the API, right? So when to currency changes, the first step is we will change the URL. So in the URL, we have to append the from currency and to currency, right? So what we will do is we'll click on web API component, which is the web part of it, and then we will set the URL. So look for API.set URL, right? This one, and then now we need to add strings to this. So go back to the text block and look for join. So once you have join, we need 3 values, or we need actually 4 string values inside this. So we will do drag and drop here. We have 4 string values. The first one is to get the variable API URL. So what we will do is we'll just do from a variables, we'll do get, and then we'll do get API URL. Then we have to append the from selection, from currency selection. So we'll do from currency, and here you have to look for from currency dot selected selection, right? So yep, we have from currency dot selection, and then we need a text. So look for, add the empty one here, and then here I will just copy this part and then paste it inside this, and then the last one is the to currency selection. So I'll click on to currency and do to currency dot selection, or you can also do, actually let us delete this and you can do just get selection in this uh, piece, right? So since you're already in that piece, it is ideal to just do this. Now our next step is to call the API. So what we'll do is we'll do api.component and then do dot get. So look for API component dot get. So once you do this, let us also quickly add a progress bar just to show the user that something is happening. So I'll just do progress, and we'll add a circular progress right under the second field and make it fill parent width, and it is visible, so we'll just hide it for now and then go to the blocks, and then here we have the circular progress, so we'll do set circular progress visible to true. So you go back to logic and pull this and set it to true. Now what happens is when the second value changes, the API is getting called, and we also have the circular progress set so to visible. So now the next component that we need to add is again the API component, where we check for if the API component has received a response. So what we'll do is we'll do got text. So inside this we have a bunch of steps to do. First one is to store the response here. Which response? The response inside the rates value. So how do we do that? First step is we'll do set, sorry. So the first step is we'll hover over API response and get set API response to what. Now you go back to the API component and look for the JSON, this one, JSON text decode. So you decode the text from the response and then read through the rates and add it to global API response. So how do we do it? Now if you remember, we added the JSON parser, so you go into JSON parser and look for get object by key, right? And then append it here. So the what this does is it has to look for the rates part value, and then whatever is inside rates is put into global API response. So here we will do get response content in the object, and then the attribute name is a text, so we'll do text and we'll add rates. So here we will add rates, right? So now what we have inside rates is this part. So now we have to parse the INR part, and then we get the value of the conversion, or INR is in this case, so it will be whatever the selected currency is. So now the next step is we have the two values, right, which is two labels that we set aside to show the currency converted value. What we will do is we'll do sender value, will first set it as 1 for now, and then we'll do the receiver value calculation from the API response variable. So click on sender value, we'll do sender value dot text, excuse me, yeah, so sender value dot text. This will be 1 by default. We are not doing any calculation here. We haven't added a dynamic field. So what we will do is I will add a join just to show the currency value of the sending currencies here. So the join part is added, and then here we have to add a number. So I will quickly do text and then add this and make this 1. By default sender is 1, so we added 1 here, and then now I just add from currency selection just to get the currency. And in this I will add 1 and a space just to make sure there is some space between the number and the currency. Right now we have added sender value. Now our next step is to add the receiver value, which is the API parsing part. So now I click on receiver value. The first step is set text to, and here we need a join again because we have to get the currency and also the value. So what we will do is go into text and then get the join, and inside this we will need the key value parsing part, and then we will need the currency symbol to be added. So what we will do is we need 3 parts. So in the join, so I'll just add a third string. Oh, oops, come on, yeah. So we'll just add a third string. The second one is just a mere space, so I'll just add that first. Second one is a space, and then the last one is the to currency selection. So I'll do the to currency dot selection, and now in this we will go to dictionaries, and in the dictionaries we'll get value for key. The key for us is the currency. So if you look at the API response, it is INR in this case. It will be the currency that is being sent. So what we will do is we'll do again duplicate this. Sorry, duplicate this and add it to the key part. And in dictionary, you will look for in which dictionary are you looking for. So it is the global API response. So what I will do is I'll hover this and get this and yeah, change it to this so that we can append it here, and that should be it. So this will make the app do the conversion. If you want to test this out, let me quickly switch my screen. So there is a companion app that you have to download. So I will close my, so this is the part that you will need. We'll just leave it here for just a few seconds so that you can probably take a screenshot of this if you want, or pause it and look at all the values. Let's quickly test this. So, oh, sorry. So, yep. So now to test this, what you have to do is let me switch the video to my app demo. Yes. So this is working. So you need to download Kodular companion, and in the companion you can do test and say connect to companion in the Kodular app, and then scan the QR code. Right, once I scan the QR code, the app should open up. What the website is doing is basically this. It is and yeah, it is sending the app to the phone. Right, so now as you can see, the currency values are not really visible, so we'll just change the colors. So I will select for INR. Okay, let's do USD, DKK to USD, and oh, okay. So there is something that we have actually forgot, that is to make the, let me go back to the blocks, make the values visible. So it is just rotating because we haven't disabled this. So yep, we have to do all of that. We'll set the circular progress bar to false, and then we'll also do these to visible. So for that, what we would do is just select the labels on the left, and then you will have dot visible. So I'm just doing it to true. This one set receiver value is true, and we need to duplicate this, and this is the sender value. So sender value is also to be set to true, right? So once we are done doing all of that, we are now ready for the demo. So you can alternatively, let me quickly do, you can do a refresh companion screen. Let me switch the screen. Yes, so GBP to GBP is default one. So I'll quickly click the first one and do, let's select the same one for us to be able to easily understand. So I'm converting USD to INR. So I'm clicking on the next one and selecting INR here. So 1 USD is 74.95145 INR. Now this UI is just for the sake of this demo. So you can also arrange the USD and INR as two columns. So what we'll do is, let me switch the screen for you, and here you can do layout, general, and horizontal arrangement is a good idea. You can click on horizontal arrangement, make the width full, and then drag and drop these to the left and to the right. Oh, right. So if you have two elements, they'll arrange automatically to left and right. And yeah, you can change the item background color, and if you want to change the spinner color, you can change that. So you can pretty much play around with all of these here. And if the text is not visible, what I would do is, since the item text color is in INR, it is not visible by default. So we can do blue here, And the same goes for the from currency as well. Let's do blue for that as well. And yep, so now if you do test refresh companion screen, and you can see the values now, right? So GBP is visible. Okay, now the background has changed. So item background and item text color, if you look here, are the same. So we can change the item background color to white or gray, whatever your preference is. I leave that to you. So yeah, the UI is editable, but the logic is the important part of the demo. So I hope you've understood how to do this. I have just refreshed it, and yep, now it looks much better, and you can play around with this and create a much better UI or something similar to what I've created. You can also add a label and change. Let's say I'll show you. So here I've selected recipient gets. If you want to add a icon, you just add another label and change it to material icons and add the icon type. So yep, that's it for this demo. I hope you've learned how to create a currency converter using a simple API. uh, do let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below, and if you have a question about how to change the screen title, you just click on the screen one and go down, look for a screen one here and change the title. So let's do currency converter here, and once you have the app ready and it is working, you can do export and save the APK to your computer. I hope you've liked this tutorial and have learned something from this. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.